just at a glance, I would say always just understanding how to grapple. That's one thing that a lot of people don't. The the world's a nasty place, and there's a lot of bad people out there fighting, getting assaulted. Like this violence happens. That's why we all carry guns. That's why we all shoot. Violence happens. But what people don't understand is quite often that violence is like very close contact. So understanding how to grapple, how to wrestle, something along those lines is very, very useful.
Yeah, and I think too about retention too. Like I'm thinking if somebody's close to me, I've got pepper spray or a gun or whatever it is, the tool that I'm using. If I'm within arm's reach of that person, they can get whatever it is that I have, or get me, or get both. Yep. And yeah, that's a real thing. So there's definitely something to consider whenever we know that, not all, but many, when they're trying to take something from you, or they want you, they are going to get close to you. And so you must be able to handle that. So
that's another thing I think that a lot of people maybe don't quite understand, or they don't, the movies have kind of led us to believe that, you're going to hit the guy in the throat and he's going to gag and fall down and you're going to run away or whatever. But the truth of the matter is the more training you can get, the greater chance you have of success. But you have to temper what you think of as success. So if we're going into a competitive fight in a cage with a referee, then success is determined by who wins the fight, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're a 5 foot tall, 110-pound woman that gets jumped coming out of the supermarket late at night, then success means that you walk away from that encounter without dying, right? You're going to get beat up. You're going to get your nose broken. You're going to get some things taken from you. But if you can walk away from that encounter and not be dead or not be hospitalized, then that's a win. Mm-hmm. You won that encounter. You don't need to immobilize your attacker and whatever. Like if you can just curl up in a ball and defend yourself well enough that he decides it's not worth his time anymore, then you won. Right. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. They're like, well, I'm a little woman. I want to know how to take down this 250-pound guy. Like you're not gonna. But if he's trying to attack you and you can survive, we're going to call that a win.
Yeah.
It's not.
Heather just commented on what she was talking about.
Oh, perfect.
So
okay. Yeah. So again, some form of grappling, I would say. I say grappling, but really they're all kind of the same. I mean, men have been fighting each other since the dawn of time, and we still have 2 arms, 2 legs, and 1 neck. So it's kind of all the same. Grappling, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, judo, sambo, any of the grappling styles I think would be a very good head start. It's something along those lines. Another thing that I think is pretty important is do something that has a competitive element to it. Even if you don't want to compete, you don't have to compete. But like, if I say to you, I've got a 0.2 draw, what are you going to say?
That's impossible.
No. 0.2. I can get out of the holster in 0.2. What are you going to say?
I don't know. I feel like this is a trick question.
It's not. You're going to say, okay, show me.
Oh.
Prove it. Show me.
Yeah.
And you're going to get the phone out and my draw is going to be like 1.7. You'll be like, yeah, you lied. Right? But that's the point. So if anybody is going to make a claim about something they can do, there should be a competitive environment where they can prove it. Jiu-jitsu has competitions all over the place. If you want to see if your technique works, go to a match against somebody that's actively trying to stop you and see who can win. That will show you if your technique is if the style that you're learning is useful. Yeah. And yes, there's rules. There's always going to be some caveats. It's not 100%. But just like a match, right? If you say, I can shoot XYZ, and then you watch me go to a match and I'm throwing misses all over the place. You're like, clearly that guy's talking shit. He's not as good as he thinks he is, right? So there has to be an element where you can prove it. If you're going to tell me you can do something, you better be willing to step up and prove it in some form of actual competition. So that's very important.
Well, and I think what you're saying is it should be tested.
Right.
Yeah. That's
tested with competition. And even, just a timer is
under stress. Is that what you're saying? Under stress of some kind.
Stress is it's another level that is very useful. Definitely. Yeah. And
Yeah.
there's always going to be some element of stress, right? I mean, if I say, show me you can do this, and if you can, I'll give you $100. There's a little bit of stress there. You want that money, right? So, but yeah, I mean, the level of stress is definitely useful, definitely helpful.
Yeah.